Hi, good evening, Victoria. By way of introduction, my name is William Jeffries. I am the State Director of GovHack here in Victoria. Um, this is an interesting competition this year. Welcome all to GovHack and to our Connection of Events Night. Um, as as with all of us, I'm here in Victoria going through COVID as well, like the rest of you, working from home.
Hi, good evening, Victoria.
Oh, shit.
By way of introduction,
What's
my
going
name is
on?
William Jeffries.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that. That was a technical difficulty. Cool, we're still learning this. This is the first time we've done this remotely as well. Now, moving on to the next slide. So, yes, that's me. Cool. So what's the plan here tonight, and what are we going to be talking about? So tonight we're going to be talking about what is GovHack first of all, what is GovHack and what is hacking itself, and then how we should be thinking about data, how you should be thinking about it just in the competition's sake, and also becoming more aware of what open data is around and available to you, both in this competition and in other aspects of your career. For those that are new to GovHack, we're going to just walk through the competition a little bit, and then we're also going to discuss the competition themes, followed by some helpful hints. I've competed in GovHack and a few other hackathons. I've won a couple. I can give you some really good tips, and there's some basic stuff that we provide every competitor as well. After that, we're going to be having a connection event on Zoom where the link will be shared with you. And we're going to have breakout spaces so you can meet other participants and perhaps maybe form a team. So what is GovHack first and foremost? Well, to answer that question, we've got to ask about what is hacking in the first place. And for me, hacking is pretty much finding a workaround, a quick solution to a complex problem as quick as possible. Hacking is also known for other more insidious kind of things, but in this case it's more about finding a workaround, finding a hack to something, finding insights, and then finding a solution to a problem. So I like to think of GovHack as a competition of Australia's smartest and brightest people, finding the problems that we didn't know existed and then coming up with unique and novel solutions using technology. GovHack is ultimately a festival of ideas using open government data. We work closely with government to actually facilitate the open data portals, and we're one of their biggest consumers. And we like to use open government data to make our communities a better place. Essentially, again, the theme of our smartest and brightest young adults, not just young adults, sorry, but all adults, coming together, working on problems that really aren't even on the radar, and then finding ways that can fundamentally improve the lives of others. So what is GovHack? GovHack is a 46-hour hackathon. So essentially it starts on a Friday evening and it finishes on a Sunday evening. We announce the challenges at 7 p.m. on the Friday as the competition opens. We reuse open government data, of course, as well as other data sources that you're welcome to use and collect. We ideate over problems and we create solutions to problems. And we develop a proof of concept. We document data, story, and citations. And ultimately, here's what really matters is the 3-minute video pitch. So for background on my skill set, I'm a principal engineer for a financial services institution. I write code all the time. I'm telling you today, this competition isn't really about writing code. It's not about producing a product per se. It's about building an MVP and having a really good video. So the video is what wins hackathons, and at the end of the day, don't forget that. Who participates in GovHack? So predominantly it's mostly students in the tertiary area, either technical or business or a bit of both. It's open to anyone, however. We have participants in the public service, and we also have a lot of mentors from the public service. Because of the fact that it is government data, we work quite closely with government and a lot of departments to find essentially to find data and then have the data owners come in and mentor to provide advice and opinions on on how you should understand the data and what you can do with it. We also work with the tech industry, so we have strong relationships with both AWS and Google Cloud and Infosys and tech recruiters. I work in fintech. Most of our state operations committee over here are in tech, either at the mid engineering level or the senior engineering, and in my case, in the management side. So we also have freelancers, people that, graphic design, customer experience, user experience people. We have creatives, of course, data lovers, all ages, all skills and skill levels. What is open data? So open data is pretty much anything that's really open sourced, available online. But in the context of government open data, we're specifically really focusing on the open data government portals, which I'll be sharing with you soon. Oh, here we are. So data.gov.au is one of the biggest portals for open government data. It sources information, open data, from essentially all federal government departments. Correct me if I'm wrong, but also some of the state level stuff as well, and city councils. On top of that, we have state level portals. So in Victoria's case, it's data.vic.gov.au. And then on top of that, there are other ones as well. We'll be sharing this information with you through our Slack channels for the competition. And then, of course, on top of the state and the federal, we've also got the local government authorities. I will note as well that LGAs are actually probably one of the best, the quick wins in terms of the data sets available to them, and the practical applicability. I've seen quite a few good submissions from LGA-based data in the past. I've known some people to win, especially those in Tasmania. They seem to do quite well with the Hobart City Council stuff, but there is ample amounts of open data available at the LGA level. We will be providing all these data sets for the competition closer to the event, and we will be sharing that with you during the induction and onboarding. So new for GovHack 2020. Well, first and foremost, to speak the obvious, this year is fundamentally different to last year, and it was quite a long while ago now that I think about it, but also really quick as well. So this year we've got a digital conference. So for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be running through tutorials on how to build different sorts of things using different technology stacks. So for example, AWS Basics, so Amazon Web Services Basics, right down to Intro to Data Science, and also Introduction to UI, so you can develop some skills along the way. I would highly encourage everyone to participate in those as much as they can. They are live streamed, but on top of that, they can be viewed through YouTube. Treasure Hunt. We do have a pre-competition event called the Treasure Hunt. More information about that will be emailed out to participants that are registered. Essentially, I won't go into too much detail about that, but that information will certainly be available in due course. We also have an online team formation, so individual profiles on Hackerspace. Hackerspace is the web app that's developed in-house that we use for our hackathon. You will be creating online profiles on Hackerspace. That information will be coming to you by email, and you can contact me directly at vic@govhack.org if you have any questions, queries, or doubtful points. First and foremost as well, the competition starts at 7 p.m. on not next Friday, but the Friday after. And it concludes on the Sunday at 5 p.m. At this point in time, and we're also going to be predominantly on Slack for our competition. So Victoria, we're actually rolling out some new features in Slack to make it more expedient and easier for you. We're testing it out before rolling most of that out to national. Zoom will be how we do a lot of our video conferencing. So to find mentors and stuff, you'll be using Slack, and to break out into rooms, you'll be using Zoom. Cool. So before I continue, I might just break out to see if we've got any questions, queries, or doubtful points that can be answered now. If you do, just put them in the comments, and then we'll go through and look into that. Cool. So there doesn't seem to be any questions so far, but if you do have a question, just add it in the comment section. So the proposed themes for GovHack 2020. We've got resilience and recovery of our communities, beyond COVID-19, new ways to work and play. Sorry about that, I'm just adjusting lighting. I might just go off cam. Inclusive and accessible, health and well-being, open science, citizen science, emergency management, Australian bushfires, and BLM. So going through each of these quickly, I'll start with resilience and recovery of our communities. This is essentially how do we become a more resilient community in our supply chains, in our ways of work, in our economy. So this is really about, how do we get back to where we used to be before COVID-19? And then after that, we've got beyond COVID-19, new ways to work and play, which is slightly different. That's more about, okay, the world has fundamentally changed now. Things aren't going back to the way they are. For example, I don't plan on ever working in an office again. I'm going to work from home from now on. Everything's changed. Even dating's changed now. First dates can be done over Zoom. So where can we take that? What can we do with these new ways of communication and new ways of working? What are the implications in terms of transport, in terms of health and safety, in terms of work hours and childcare? There's many different ways we can take this. Inclusive and accessible is essentially how do we make services and facilities and community infrastructure more available and inclusive to members of society that have been left out in the past. So these are typically people with disabilities, people with on the low socioeconomic status, low end of the socioeconomic status spectrum, and people that we just miss in day-to-day society, like the homeless as well. Health and well-being is really, so this is really open-ended. Well-being is more about getting your headspace on and being of right mind and being the best you can be, while health is more about your physical health. And yeah, open science and citizen science, I like to think of these quite similar. The difference is open science is more aimed at the peer review side of things, while citizen science is more aimed at participation. So, for example, are there problems if you've got a scientific background, if you're an academic, and you've got ideas around, open sourcing up data collection, for example, that would fall under citizen science, or open science might be more related to the accessibility of science itself. Emergency management and Australian bushfires, they can be also kind of tied together a bit. I think we forget at times with everything going on at the moment that we did have a catastrophic natural disaster at the end of last year. And there are communities at the moment that are still homeless as a result of that. There's a lot going on with bushfires, and to bring a bit of to kind of make everyone aware, bushfire season started in August last year, and we're about to enter August. So there's still a lot we can do with that. Either on the emergency management side and the prevention side, or also in assisting those people that have yet to be, helped by society in recovering. Black Lives Matter. So we're an apolitical organisation. We don't take a position because we obviously work closely with government. But in saying that, we are interested in exploring what the truth is here around statistics around Indigenous incarceration, or as well as ethnic incarceration, and then on top of that, deaths in custody, length of custody, sentencing. So it's pretty open-ended there. As long as it's kept apolitical and it tells a story, that's something that would be great from a data visualization point of view, that really hones down on the facts. Is there any questions, queries, or doubtful points at the moment? I'll leave this open for a minute for discussion, and then if not, I'll move forward. Cool. So helpful hints, the team makeup. So it's always best to work with other people, like in a team, obviously, but on top of that, different people as well. I'm going to be honest, like I'm not the be all end all in what I know when I'm deving stuff. It's always better to have people that know the domain really well, as well as people that have, business skills to do the presenting. Having someone that's presentable and enthusiastic to do the video is a good kind of makeup. So problem solvers, we should all be problem solvers first and foremost, but subject matter experts, if you've got one, then you're really in a strong position. I must emphasize, however, have someone dedicated to the video. Videos win, not the code. So it's much better to have a video that communicates the overall point and the possibilities rather than a full production level application. We're not looking for production level applications. What we're looking for is ideas and solutions to problems. So the helpful hints, the treasure hunt's pre-competition, and it is before the 14th of August. The Friday, the 14th of August, is when we open up. So the live streaming will begin at 6 p.m. Yeah, I'm on camera for an hour straight. And then from 6:30, from 7 o'clock, the competition challenges are announced. So I'll give a presentation before the event starts to open it up. We will be getting a few of the national people in, and I'll be introducing you to the Victorian team as well. At that point, we'll be introducing you to mentors. Mangala, mentoring lead, has done a fantastic job at getting mentors from across industry. So from the banks, from government, from tech companies. He's done a fantastic job. So I can't wait for them to link up with everyone. From that, we'll identify potential challenges for the group. So we'll be dropping in, and I'll be paying close attention as well to find out exactly what challenges you're facing and what your plan is, as well as give advice on, or not me, but other people give advice on how you might implement that, what technology you might need, and what design considerations you might have. And then from that, you'll be starting the project on Hackerspace so we can keep track of it. On Saturday, this is really when you should be thinking, okay, you've done your exploration on Friday. Saturday is when you're really honing down and figuring out what exactly you want to do, the specifics and nitty-gritty of it. Keep it simple in terms of what you actually plan on delivering, as long as you deliver a fantastic video. Work with mock-ups as well, and try and get some validation if you can. Always cite the data sets. It's pretty much the same as, the university. We use citations. It's not APA, but keep it straightforward. Storyboard your concept video. So yeah, take the video seriously. In fact, take it more seriously than the code. And update your project page on Hackerspace. And then from 7 p.m, we have a live stream game event. More information about that will be available at the time. Sunday, so this is when you really want to lock stuff down. Normally by 12 p.m. on the lunch Sunday is when you want to aim for it to be completed, and then you're polishing it from there. If you're running behind, that gives you enough leeway as well to have an unpolished version. Yeah, take photos and screenshot of work throughout. Post that stuff on LinkedIn if you've got it as well. It's really good for networking, and it's also good for us. Complete the dataset citations. Yeah, complete your story. So sometimes you might be doing a product, other times you might be doing like a Tableau dashboard. Tell the story, complete it, have a narrative around what you're doing as well. People love narratives more than just products. Submit a version of your prototype, the video, keep it on Bitbucket, Dropbox, etc. Bitbucket's not for videos, Dropbox. If you've got some code, ideally open source it, but at least if you're deploying it to AWS or something, then share the links around, let us stress test it as well. 5 p.m. is the competition deadline. Unfortunately, I don't have any say over that. So if you're late, you can't cry to me because National will just go no. Cool. Helpful hints. Make sure to select appropriate challenges. So there are two ways you can do this. You can go for what's most exciting you, or you can go strategically and go for the one that you think no one else is going to do. If you do the later bit of what I just said, you're probably going to be drowned out by a lot of people thinking the same way. So pick what you're passionate about. To answer your question, we are open worldwide, but this is I've received a question from a participant. Is this open to worldwide or just Australian citizens? So we are open worldwide. If you are in Victoria, this is relevant to you. If not, then you're still going to have value from listening, but I'm presenting for Victorians, but you certainly don't need to be an Australian citizen. So make sure you select the appropriate challenges. Consider how you can align multiple challenges. Yeah, so double up on that stuff. Like, yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone, 3 birds, 1 stone. That's what engineers do. Well, not all of your engineers, but that's what people in tech typically do. Consider all the relevant data sets related to the challenge topic. Yeah, so in this case, what that really means is skim through everything so that you're aware. Don't look at the raw data. Look at the actual measures and metrics. Like, so in terms of what are the fields, so your columns and your rows, look at what's the gist of it, and then try and see if there's joins between different data sets. That's what I would encourage you to do to try and get as much impact as possible. Talk to your mentors about your concepts. So we're really focusing on mentors this year. So have a clear line of communication with them. And yeah, we will, but don't ignore them or don't think that you don't need them. These guys are here to help and they're experts at what they do. Getting connected. So this will all come out through email, but on top of that, here are the links. So you will be required as part of the competition to join the Slack channel, govhackhq.slack.com. And then from that, we've got a bunch of organized channels. So we've got the Help Mentors channel, we've got the Talk To, and then all the organizations. We've got our Hack Vic channel, and we've got talks on pretty much everything. It should be pretty self-explanatory. I'm also going to note, it's not in these slides yet, but we're actually building a Slack app as well. I'll run through how that works once we get it into production. That's something that's still in development at the moment that my team hasn't finished on yet. Zoom. So we will also be using Zoom. So talks. Cool. At this point in time, we're gonna hear a video from our lead sponsor, Infosys. This lasts for about 4 minutes, and then after that, we'll be talking to our next sponsor.
I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners where I'm coming in from today, the Camaragal people of the Eora Nation. I'd like to thank their elders past and present for looking after these lands and these waters for many, many generations. And I'd like to recognise all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders from wherever you're connecting today. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to this GovHack Connection event. My name is Andrew Groth, and I'm a Senior Vice President with Infosys. I lead our business across the Australia and the New Zealand region. Infosys, we're a global leader in next generation digital services and consulting. We have clients in over 46 countries around the world, and we help those clients navigate their digital transformation journey. Here in Australia and New Zealand, we have almost 6,000 staff working across banks, telcos, government agencies, utilities, working with those organisations to accelerate their digital journeys. And importantly at this time, to provide resilience in the face of a rapidly changing landscape that we're all seeing. We've been involved with GovHack for many years. In fact, this is our third year running that we're proud and honoured to be the lead partner for GovHack. We're committed to help nurture the next generation of digital talent. In fact, our culture of our organisation, our DNA going back nearly 40 years, is one around continuous learning. And GovHack is a great proven model for that continuous learning. The skills that will be developed, the solutions that you will bring are critical in this country. They're critical to the economic recovery that's going to be so important moving forward. Of course, we're all missing the in-person connect, but I'm looking forward to connecting virtually for this event, and I know all the team at Infosys likewise is looking forward to connecting with you virtually in this environment we're all operating in. You know, despite the challenges we're all facing, technology has enabled us to connect and has enabled us to be productive, and in many cases I'd actually even argue to be more productive. For me personally, GovHack has always been a great experience. I've loved meeting so many people, I've seen so many great ideas, and I do hope later in the year we may have the opportunity to meet in person as we go forward. Now, GovHack gives you great opportunities. At this time, it gives you an opportunity to play an important role in addressing the key challenges that we're facing as a country right across Australia and New Zealand. And as you do that, you think about the environment we're in, it's now more critical than ever that you really apply a human-centred approach while you're working on your ideas. So I'd ask you all to keep that in mind. As you go through your ideations and your solutions, what's that human-centred approach? That will be really critical in the ideas and the innovations that we're looking for. At Infosys, we've got some really exciting challenges coming your way, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your ideas as we progress. I'm also really excited this year about our partner UiPath. UiPath is a leading robotics process automation company, and they're providing their software platform to all of you to use. I'd really recommend you use that. In fact, use all the tools that GovHack makes available to you as part of this process. I'll be joining you again at the GovHack virtual launch event on the 14th of August. And in the meantime, I wish you all the very best. Keep learning, keep those great ideas coming, and stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you.
Cool. So that was Infosys. For background on who Infosys are before I move forward, Infosys is one of the world's largest IT consulting companies. They're our biggest sponsor this year, outside of government, or including government actually. We're very grateful for their ongoing participation and engagement. And as always, they are recruiting. Speaking of recruiters, I'm going to introduce my good friend Sammy. I've worked with him in the past as he has recruited me for a couple of positions. And on top of that, he also a client in the works now. So he's a great guy and he represents AllSquares, and he's here to take it further and talk to you quickly about what AllSquares is if you're looking for any new opportunities in the Victorian region.
Hey, yes, thank you, Will. As Will was saying, I work with AllSquares. We're a technology recruitment company at heart. Although I like to think we do a little bit more than just that. We do some project solutions and some end-to-end recruitment solutions on that front. But yeah, as Will was saying, AllSquares, we recruit anything through software engineering, product delivery, design, with product companies throughout Melbourne, mostly, but obviously we do quite a bit of stuff outside of Melbourne. But we always try to get involved with the community where we can. So GovHack is a great initiative. And yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see what's in store. But if you're a junior coming up the ranks, or if you're a senior software engineer just looking for a change, or even if you're just looking to see what's out there on the market and just want to find out a little bit more, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Samuel Reith at AllSquares. I'm on LinkedIn. Just get in touch. Yeah, love to tell you a little bit about what's going on in that space. But yeah, definitely keen to see what's in store with GovHack, Will.
Yeah, no, it's quite exciting actually. We've got quite a few registrations this year as well. So yeah, no, it's great to have you on board.
Awesome.
So if anyone wanted to get in contact with you about any career opportunities, how would they do so?
Yeah, so I think the best way would be to getting in touch with me through LinkedIn, or even if you wanted to reach out, allsquares.com.au. It's a pretty good place as well. But myself, Danny, or Julian, yeah, always keen to chat. I suppose just want to know who you are. Always good to network. Keen to tell you about who we're working with. Yeah, I think
question that a lot of the participants have on their mind at the moment.
Yeah.
Someone that sees the hiring process at the moment in a COVID era with the remote working. What's the market looking like, and what are the skills really that people are looking for in particular?
Yeah, so look, I'll be totally honest. I mean, everyone on the back of their mind, they're talking about, recession and economic recovery post-COVID. But in a software engineering world, you're still in demand. If you're a software engineer and you're working with any of the modern technologies nowadays, from what I've seen at least, there's definitely still a demand. I think if you're working with any scalable tech, anything modern JavaScript, Java, Python, Golang, I'd say for the most part you're in a luxury world whereby you got a lot of choice, especially with Melbourne companies as well. We got a booming tech scene here as well. I really do think that, yeah, I do think it's about keeping up to date with new tech. I think it's about keeping up to date with the companies and what industries are booming for sure. But I definitely think, we're in a pretty good spot here in digital.
That's awesome. And do you feel that when people, so for new grads and stuff, when they participate in events like this, does that help them with their prospects normally? Is this one of the things that helps them stand out?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I speak with hiring managers, or when I speak with junior devs, actually any devs for that matter, one of the major questions I always ask, I say, what do you do outside of work? Are you up to date with meetups? Are you up to date with community initiatives? Are you taking part in hackathons? Are you attending initiatives like GovHack? Because what that tells me is that not just, you don't just see software development as just a job, but also a passion. Engineering is at your heart effectively, and the same way with recruitment for myself. I'd like to think I host a product management meetup, and I try to attend meetups and get involved with the community where I can, because I think that does show to me that you have a deeper passion. So definitely, if you're on GovHack and if you're taking part in initiatives outside of work, what that screams to me is that you got passion.
Awesome. Well, we'll leave you there. Thank you very much for joining us today. Are there any final points you'd like to stress before?
No, I mean, I think GovHack is something, I've only learned about this year. AllSquares is super proud to partner with you, and to really support initiatives like this, and just to give as much information as we can about what the market looks like with hiring software devs. So yeah, really happy to partner with you guys.
In that case, we'll leave it there then. and then we'll see you during and after the competition as well.
Yep.
But after this lockdown is gone, I look forward to catching up for a beer sometime.
Mate, tell me about it.
Great.
Oh, so keen.
Awesome. So, thank you on behalf of everyone here for joining us tonight, and take care.
Yeah, have a good night. Bye.
Bye. Cool. So that's Sammy's email up there on the screen. We've got some question from Sub K. Do we need to come up with a team, or is there a listing where you can put your name and skill set? So yes, you do not need to come up with a team by yourself. We will be having, as part of the Slack app, the ability to join teams and meet with other people. Tonight, as part of the Connections event, we're actually going to be doing that as well. We're going to be doing a bit of speed dating per se, where we link you into different rooms randomly and you can get to know each other quickly for a good 5 minutes. We'll drop in. And then from that, if you feel it's a good match, you can essentially share contact details. In terms of remote opportunities from Sammy, from my understanding, that you do need they can't really place people that don't have a right to work in Australia. So if you do have a right to work in Australia, then that's what their typical market is. In terms of another question, there was support for international. We do allow for international competitors, but you would have to join one of the states and then play as a state competitor. So the Connections event now is essentially, we're going to move over to Zoom. So you will need Zoom for this. Sorry, actually, I've got some slides mixed up. Silly me. So before we do that, I'm just going to quickly note our dear sponsors. Near and dear to our heart, they keep the lights on. Metaphorically, we're all volunteers, and I'm at home. AWS, I'm an AWS certified architect. I love it. It's a great thing. Say all you want about Jeff Bezos. The guy's brilliant and he's revolutionized computing. AWS is the be-all, end-all, and it's great to have them on board. As usual, the CSIRO, the Department of Education, Skills and Employment, and thank you even to the tax office. Wasn't a sentence I didn't think I'd be saying in my life. And the ARDC, the Research Data Commons. Our national sponsors, ARNet, so they're pretty much they're fiber around Australia. They're like our internet provider for the universities and research institutions and CSIRO, as well as Telstra. So moving forward tonight, we're going to be now moving on to the Zoom meeting. I'm going to keep the screen up for the rest of the night for live streaming. And if everyone wants to join us in the Big Connections event, we will start with breakout rooms. And that will go on for another, what time is it now? It's 6:08. For another 35 minutes-ish. Cool. My name's been Will. It's been a pleasure to be hosting you tonight on this digital way of doing things. And we'll be keeping this slide up. Thank you very much for your time, guys. And I'll see you over in Zoom.